This is the third time I'm trying to make this video this morning. I keep dropping the phone. I know this high-tech production value of holding the phone and talking to it is special. But anyway, Ranger, Dragonslayer RPG. Ability requirements: 12 int, 12 wisdom, 15 con. You'll be smart, wise, and hardy. Human unlimited, half-elf 8. Curiously, they don't allow elves to be rangers. That is probably something I would house rule after we get done with the raw. Since it's there's a lot of stuff drawn from like little bits of unearthed arcana and stuff. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. I kind of get why. Power creep. Elfin. If you have an elfin ranger, are you ever going to see any human rangers? And that's a big no. So it gives an overview of how to play one. That's the hardy, rough-looking warriors, loners, basically. I'm not reading this up verbatim. Thanks for your input, Fletcher. My grandson is full of it this morning. Rangers are front-line warriors skilled at scouting and maneuvering in the wilderness. They wear loud armor and they start with a bow. Weapons and armor, they can use leather, studded leather, and ringmail to maximize mobility, and all rangers start with a longbow and 20 arrows for free. Kind of sets up your role, right? You are a distance fighter, and you can melee, but your armor choices are not good for melee. They gotta be good. And in the description, it talked about them preferring to work alone, and they are usually the first line of defense versus chaos in the wilderness or evil in the wilderness on the fringes of society. So you got your outdoorsy lone wolf trope right there in the beginning, your Aragon trope. We all use it. It works for a fantasy game. I know there's always that little faction that goes, I want to play an urban ranger. I get it. You want to be a hobo or like a homeless person wandering around the city who knows how to survive off trash. Congratulations. You're disgusting. But in the broad general sense, rangers are outdoorsy frontiersmen. Think about your Grizzly Adams tops, etc. Got to be good, so lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good. You have a chaotic good ranger and a bunch of barbarians. You got a druid or two, and you have the hex crawl group, right? Not so great in the dungeon, but they could do it. Get in, get out, lighter armor. So if you want to run a game where you raid into mega dungeons and then go back to the forest, that would work. Possessions. I'm seeing a theme with a lot of the goody-goody races that eschew wealth, right? Rangers may only own what they can carry. All possessions and gold must be donated. So it doesn't limit how much treasure they can. So they get like a bag of holding or a pouch of holding, and they can actually keep a lot of coin, technically. Someone's teething. But that's a big one. Paladin, monk, ranger, can't keep gold. You can't get wealthy being these guys. If you want to be wealthy, then it's recommended you probably should be a core class. Their XP is a little bit higher than the fighter, and they get the same attack bonus spread. So it's not bad. Lone wolf. It's a rule, not form. Only 2 rangers may adventure together at any one time. So your bunch of rangers taking down giants, it's shot in the foot. You can have 2. Racial enemies. Rangers receive a +1 damage per level against goblinoids, as well as Ettins, trolls, ogres, ogre magi, and all giants. That's right, the AD&D, I do my level in damage versus this stuff. So they can weed through the creatures of the frontier. Ranger surprised only on a 1, and may surprise 3 and 6 if alone. So 1 higher than normal. 2 and 6 your standard surprise chance. You get +1. I've seen people go nuts with the Dex rules and kick it up. AD&D, you could make an elven party of and ranger and halflings and absolutely destroy creatures in the wilderness. And that fits into the fantasy tropes. Not a lot of people do it, and when you apply the assassination rules to that, it's ugly. It's real. That's I will bash min-maxing and munchkinism, but when it comes to niche class specialties, ambush, surprise attacks by Sylvan races and rangers and with assassins is devastating. Get back here now, and they have the standard tracking. Now, every edition usually gives the ranger tracking for being the outdoors, and now it doesn't have a big fancy chart. It's 80% outside, modified for the size of the group, minus by how many days have gone by, and a flat 55 underground, and then the modifiers applied. It's decent. It's decent. And rangers may hide in the wilderness if motionless and silent. And contrary to other editions where you just got a flat percentage, it's a 5 and 6. So if a ranger's hiding in the woods, there's only a 1 and 6 that they're going to be detected. They get to check their 5 and 6. And if they fail, then I would rule that you have a X in 6 chance of detecting them because they didn't succeed the roll. If they succeed the roll, there's no roll. They succeeded in being completely hidden. Unless you have something magical or supernatural that gives you above average or super normal detection abilities. Rangers may not hire henchmen or hirelings until level 8. I'm a lone wolf, baby. I ride alone. I forgot the quote from Pee Wee Herman. Cleave, beginning at level 8. If a ranger attacks the target, they receive 1 additional attack for 2 levels. 1 at level 8, 2 at level 10. Cleave applies to both melee and ranged. So the machine gun elf is still a straight fighter. A ranger can start doing it around 8th level. Now they do get spells at higher levels. Someone told me they didn't get spells, but I do believe they were talking about magic user spells. I've never agreed with rangers getting magic user spells. Druidic spells make more sense. They are nature oriented. I wonder if Shadwell overlooked this. But yeah, at 9th level they start getting druid spells. And they get the druid progression. So they start with 2 first. They go from no spells to having 2 first level spells at level 9. Because they're hybrid class, they don't get channeling. And it says nothing about the single mem, but I would apply that to all classes since it's specifically the spell memorization limit is mentioned in others. It's not mentioned under the hybrid classes. So you could say that your core spellcasting classes are limited to 1, while the hybrid specialty classes can double mem because it's specifically listed under the core class caster classes, and not mentioned in the hybrid classes at all. That could be another strength that they have. Whoop-de-doo, you can do 2 Cure Light Wounds at like 11th level. It's not game breaking. It's also kind of lame, in my opinion. Double memming, I think, is kind of not cool. You want that variety in the party, but they don't get channeling. So that is a DM's ruling call, and that would be on the flavor of your game. I could see the argument for and against it. I personally do like single spell memorization, therefore I would apply it across the board. But specifically under the hybrid classes, Paladin, Monk, Ranger, it doesn't say that. It only says that under Cleric and Magic User, specifically. So, it could be a strength to the hybrid classes, whereas it's a limitation on your core classes, which is a form of niche protection, right? Your hybrids should be able to do a lot of specialty things that your core can't. And your core should be more powerful in the long term than the others, because they are diluted by trying to do too many things at once. And with the focus of the core classes, that creates the class protection. You want to be the best spellcaster there is, you're a magic user. You want to be the best cleric there is, you're a cleric. If you want to be a derivative of those, but not as powerful in those abilities, then you become the derivative. But the monk is a powerhouse in melee, whereas the cleric is not. Suffers in spellcasting. The ranger is a powerhouse in the wilderness, suffers in the dungeon. Druid spells suck in the dungeon. Let's be honest, okay? Have some fast packs. Ring mail. The argument against ring mail could be made, but ring mail, what, AC 6, chain really affects their abilities. They may use all weapons and armor, but prefer light armor. They can wear plate if they want. Rangers and plank bug me. But chainmail and ringmail will be your go-tos, or studded leather, however you want to call it. It's mainly an appearance. You could make an argument against certain types of armor even existing, but ringmail has been found. It's not the greatest armor. Just saying. But the ranger, it's tropey. It doesn't change anything major from what you would find in other games. Except maybe the druid spells. I think the AD&D, when you use magic user spells, druid spells make more sense. A lot. Also means you could do Flame Blade. I mean, to be honest, Flame Blade's a druid spell. It's pretty awesome. So if you want to go Flaming Scimitas, you could do that. Entangle's pretty amazing. Pass Without Trace is awesome. So it really, fighting a 14th level ranger in the woods with a druid friend is going to suck. Or his elven buddies. You know? Situational. Niche protection. Class protection. It's coded in there. Maybe not as hardcore as some other editions, but you have more options with this one. You have more options while providing class and niche protection. I like that. That's all I really got to say about the ranger. We do a lot of dungeon delving, so rangers are not in a lot of supply in my games. We had a guy running the ranger in my last game, and there by God. There's a lot of hex crawling to most of the mega dungeons with Dragonslayer. Highfell is partial hex crawl. Darrell Deep is an underground hex crawl. Barrel Maze, not so much. Although you're in a swamp a lot of the time, you could really use the ranger. I'd say after one trip to the Barrel Maze, if you have a ranger in the group, you don't need to get a guide again. He knows the way after one trip. The other one, the Lost Caverns, that is a lot of outdoor desert stuff, so a ranger would still be good in that. I think Dragonslayer is made for the old-fashioned dungeon crawls, and if that's not your jam, it's not going to be your jam. If it is, it works very well, but your mileage might vary. That's all I got to say about the ranger. But anyway, you all take care. Game well, game often. I will start on the magic user tomorrow sometime. Later.